Looking for all the latest tips, tricks, updates of what's going on in the recruiting industry, check out the Digital Recruiter Sunday night newsletter. I am not here to blow up your inbox. I don't have enough time to create an email every single day. I once a week send you impactful, a big thing that I've learned this week or realized from working with hundreds of recruiters, owning an agency myself. I'm in the trenches every day like you are, and I'm sharing everything that I'm seeing every Sunday, from content, from automation, from how to get better clients, how to find candidates quicker, how to grow your team, how to hire people, everything in between. The link is in the comments. Sign up today, or you can go to my LinkedIn profile, Clark Wilcox. It's the first link on my featured section. You can sign up there. It's all free. So you get all the tips, everything that you need, free in your inbox every Sunday night. Sign up today. All right. Well, we have a really fun guest today with a really cool story about perseverance and growth, and I think just leveraging just different opportunities. I think there's a lot of growth mindset around our guest today. We have him and I have a couple similarities. One big one that we'll dive into here shortly. And just really cool. He's an agency owner, big in IT staffing, launched a marketing and branding firm, helping recruiters with their presence and their marketing. And I think just a story of perseverance and just a positive outlook. So, Ranjith, thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Clark. Thank you, and thanks for having me on your podcast.
You're welcome, and appreciate you being here. It's I guess the little secret is both of us moved to America, and neither of us knew English. Uh, so I don't know how you learned it, but we'll get into that, which is pretty fun. But like first, maybe give like a quick, just kind of a quick overview, kind of exactly like what it is like you do and you're focused on day to day. Like,
Day to day, now actually we've been in the business almost 8 years with
yeah,
the Raks Group. So I think it was like 2024 January.
yeah,
Uh, there was a time I decided I wanted to have somebody to helping hand, where most of my work, basically the recruiting and client acquisition, those things. So I hired a full-time employee. Now
yeah.
he's taking care of complete talent acquisition, so client acquisition, candidate acquisition, and everything. Now I
Mm-hmm.
got little time, so I started from the beginning, like building a brand thing. So that was my part of every day time I used to spend like 2 to 3 hours. Now they are taking care of the business. All I need to just building my brand, getting some leads inbound, then I'm passing to them, and I'm focusing what I love, what I did myself. I'm like more enjoying doing it, branding and other things. That's what I'm doing, helping them, guiding them, being right next to them. So that's what I do all day.
So the systems are a nice thing, right? Systems having the right people to be able to kind of leverage
Yeah.
everything else. What we can start kind of with the brand. I mean, you're at almost 27,000 followers on LinkedIn. I know you drive some strong engagement. It's helped you get clients and candidates. What when did you kind of start to see the opportunity for a brand, right, or the benefit?
See, the biggest struggle what I had is nobody knows me. I was doing
Yeah,
something other business. I don't know even LinkedIn. When I started, I was looking for a recruiter to help me to source a resume. Then I asked a couple of people in my network. I mean, not everybody, was very supportive, but one of my contact, he gave me a contact. Then I was able to find them, and he told me some ideas. Go there, here, search here, you will find these recruiters there. So that's where I started. Then one other challenge what I had is in my business partner, one of my friend. We were having a discussion about the networking thing. So I was having, I was mostly dependent on them to bringing some clients, helping them to bring a candidates and clients. So I thought I'll take care of it from a back end. But the one thing he told me, I still don't forget it. He said, if you wanted to be in the business, you need to build the network. So that one thing changed my life. And when the COVID time, I started building LinkedIn. So I two times my LinkedIn blocked because they thought I was doing automation back in 2019, 2020. So they blocked me two times because I was connecting maximum weekly connections, sending a
Yeah.
messages, and trying to connect the community and the same mindset people to learn from from them and see what's going on in the market so that I can implement some of it and see somebody winning, see somebody doing mistakes, and see somebody advising. So everything I was just gathering all the information and doing it myself. Then I thought, how can I how can people know me, right? I cannot remember even names. Even if you see first time, it's very hard to remember unless until you meet like two, three, four times and talk, spend more time. It's very hard to remember the name. So that day I decided, even like me going reaching them every day, there is a limit. So what if I go and start doing it myself, and people can see me, who I am, what are my values, what I do, and where I'm from, how did I do everything, right? So that way, now if I go anywhere, you don't believe me, I don't know their names. People come to my home, hey Ranjit, I know you, I saw you on LinkedIn. And that makes me, it's like it's really, makes me happy. Now I know many people know me, but I don't know them. So that's way I started building one by one connections. Now I have
Mhm.
almost 27 plus k. I last week itself, like 300k, I mean 200 and plus k impressions on my post. So those people are watching me, and they could be my potential candidates or clients or business partners. So that's how I started, and I'm now in that stage.
Well, the name of this podcast is the Digital Recruiter Podcast, so it is blending both. And a couple of things that are interesting about what you said. Number one, you reaching out manually that much is what flagged the LinkedIn algorithm, and that's kind of what I've seen too. Is sometimes some of the right automation tools can actually be better than doing it manually because they'll spread things out. But again, you're doing it manually because it's like, okay, I got an hour a day to do this.
Yeah,
I'm going to go. But it's actually almost better to have sometimes the automation mimic and just spread it out over the course of the
of
day.
course.
It stays under the radar. So I know sometimes that comes up when I talk to recruiters, like they're nervous about automation, but I've seen people get flagged that are doing stuff manually, right? That almost like
Yeah,
working too hard, right? Or working too fast. So
yeah, agree.
that's
Right. See,
right.
when I was doing
Uh,
like,
yeah.
connect, right? You just search it and you click, like within like one, like 30 seconds, you might be connecting 5, 10 people. That triggers that, LinkedIn sees that, okay, there is something going on back end. Let's block
Yeah.
this guy, right? So that's what happened. But as you said, I also use the automation. they they have they work like 24 by 7. It's not,
Mhm.
we only sit like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but 24/7, 20 connections they divide. And with the seconds, minutes, everything goes as per that LinkedIn, the blocking system, how they trigger it, right? So they avoid those things, and that's a back end system. Yeah, that's actually good. Yeah.
Exactly. So that it's always kind of interesting to highlight. I think helps some recruiters kind of put that in the proper context
Yeah.
or understanding. But you mentioned kind of with the networking, with the content. I'm with you. Like just I think your approach with it of just like post, like get your story out there, get what you do out there, your wins, your thoughts, like your experience in the market, because there are so many recruiters, some in name only, but there's so much. It's like, how do you know who to pick, right? It's like a real estate agent or a car salesman or what. Like, we have to understand that being in this industry, whether you're a recruiter or a coach or marketing agency, right? It's a dime a dozen until you're not.
Yeah.
And I love that you just you post out there and you just say people know you. You don't know them until they're ready for them to know you, or excuse me, they're ready for you to know them. And that's like the beauty of marketing and kind of that inbound traction is timing is so important. Instead of trying to chase people around and annoy them and not know if it's the right time, if you're consistent, they'll let you know when the right time is.
Yeah.
right? To partner, right? Did you, I mean, you probably noticed that shift too
Yes.
of just like things become more efficient in sales. I feel like the better your marketing and your brand is.
No, see what I this is how I put it. You are already touching one point there, right? Already.
Yeah.
So if you are meeting the same person, somebody who already saw you on LinkedIn, you don't need to introduce yourself. You're just doing the second level. You're going to the second point and third and fourth. So the first is the main thing. Any business, anything, any relationship, and everything start that first point. So the first point, you are doing it with the branding. That's what I know, the way I put it.
Uh, I'm with you. Yeah, get rid of that top of funnel. Get rid of that first that to your point, like the introduction,
Yeah.
and that saves a lot of time on the call. You can kind of get right to the chase a little bit more, right to the discovery. Not everyone's going to become a client. That's okay, but as founders, as sales, as producers, like you just want to be efficient. There's only so many hours in the day.
Mm.
There's no better way than I've seen email, call, anything else, even calls, than this. And I've done it all, and I'm sure you have as well. It feels like a cheat code once you really tap into it, which is super cool. So,
Yeah.
well, let me ask you this: we're kind of working backwards from like now to how you got in recruiting, and even maybe
Yeah.
even
Yeah. I
before
see
that.
that.
But like,
Yeah.
how did kind of how did you get into recruiting in the first place?
Yeah. So basically, I was from background in accounting. So, but my network, everybody is an IT background. So my wife is in IT, and I worked even when I was coming to US. I went and learned the Arc Labs, the ERP system, because that's related to my finance. I thought I'll
Yeah,
do, come here and maybe do the IT job. So after getting my work authorization, I started again, trying accounting. I did work with a couple of companies. Both are IT companies. One was completely a staffing company, where I started as a staff accountant. So that's where I seen like everything front. So all the you know placing a candidates and building them and following up and creating a state accounts, and all those running a payroll with a ADP and other thing. So that kind of introduction for me, where I got little idea. But again, I got laid off, then I had to go back again, same place. Then when I went back and I figured out account is not thing, I need to look into it. My main goal was like, I wanted to make at least a 60K per year, so that I can support family and we can raise our kids well. That was the main goal. Only thing I was looking at, okay, maybe if I can make like 2 or 3 placements, or maybe a couple of people working, I would easily make this much. So that was a mind initially. So then I spoke to my friends. They're all in IT. So then again, with the background of this accounting, and with the help of my friends, again I wanted to start then this way. I was actually struggling to get a job, and you can imagine like people who are like me, who are on as independent, who worked in India of like 5-10 years in IT with PhDs and master degrees. They couldn't work like further the gap. So again, that gap, after the gap, they have to kickstart their career. But it's very hard. I've seen in my experience. I realized maybe this could be another a good way to help them to get into the recruiting, so that I know anyway back end. So all I need to just take help of my friends and get into it. So that's what how I started. But after that, everything was new. Everything I have to figure it out my own from scratch. That took a lot of time.
yeah.
That's how I got into the staffing and recruiting.
Yeah, and I listened to you on the Elite Recruiter podcast with my good friend Ben Mena, and you guys talked about how you saw kind of on the account side, you saw the books to like a staffing company, and I think that kind
Yeah.
of opened your eyes to what's possible. Is that kind of what gave you the like resilience and perseverance to kind of stick through? Because I know those first couple of years were pretty tough for you.
That's not I would say 100%, but
Yeah.
I was always, I never, my mindset is also never giving up, kind of.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give up from the beginning. Even it's the numbers, I know how to do background. I was trying to save as much as money, and spending very little what were exactly needed. So that kind of saved a money too, because I know
Yeah.
back end. At the same time, hiring a people, hiring, putting on money on them, that's where I failed a lot, managing the people and trusting employees, and just putting salaries on them. I kind of lost a lot of money. That's the main thing. But otherwise, accounting really helped me in terms of working there. See, the one thing I would say is, like, the people who I am worked with, they kind of help me to give some ideas. Because even I was working as an accountant, but I have some people, who are reporting me, and they kind of gave me some references how to, find candidates first, right? So how to find a candidate, and maybe training them or placing them at the client side,
Yeah.
and finding and the recruiters also. These are all helped me through that network. Then I was able to figure it out one by one. I failed it, but it took time to understand my own way, doing my own way. But I
Yeah.
was able to figure it out, and made it happen. Yeah.
Gotcha. You mentioned talk about like employees and contractors and kind of putting a lot of money into people that didn't quite perform. Like, what are like the lessons that you've learned? What are the changes that you've made in terms of hiring people, managing people, making sure that you're bringing on employees that turn out to be profitable?
Yeah. So in staffing, it was a very challenge, because the clients pay after 30 or 45 days. So, but
Hmm.
the employees, they want it in even bi-weekly or semi-monthly.
Yeah.
Um, so the funds you need, I try to find AR loans, but I couldn't get it. I was, I mean, not qualified enough to get it, because the margins were very low. It was like not even like 10, 20 dollars per hour or something. So we were making little less now margins. Because I'm in accounting, I was able to do everything my own, with filing a state taxes, maintaining a background, bookkeeping and everything. That's where I really made money. Instead of outsourcing, I did my own. And and uh, and the especially self-funded most of it, and most of my network saved me money when I needed a payroll. Because my goal was the candidate satisfaction from the beginning. See, how you going to get the next referral? If you
Yep.
are not happy with me, I cannot ask, or you don't refer anybody. If you give me just
Correct.
one word saying that Raks Group or Ranjit did not pay me on time, right? That's it. That's a reputation I don't want it. So that's why I made sure I pay on time. So we created a calendar, a payment calendar, salary calendar. The day they onboard, we send them, this is your calendar, this is a timesheet frame, you get on this day. So 3 days before we have to schedule it. If you cannot get the funds ready with 3 days before, you're done. You're gonna get a
Yep.
call. They're gonna call, where is my money, right? So that I had to make sure I have to have that funds ready. So just put side of a business development, right? So when you have somebody, you have these things going on your mind, and when you go to bed, you feel like, okay, I have a payroll coming, I have to pay them these days, so I need this much. So where do I go? Believe me, nothing, like, I didn't get any loans or any bank supported me. So but I was able to manage it. I rotated it well, and I kept my promises. Now all the money I invested, it's circulating there. So I always keep some buffer to make sure I don't get any trouble, because you never know, expenses always show up on last minute.
It's yeah, that being at Aerotech with the staffing, I mean, getting those time cards in, getting the payroll out, like it's you're right. I mean, keeping your reputation, once you get a few contractors on the books, becomes number one, even over business development, over everything else. Because you're absolutely right with referrals or reviews or anything else.
It's not
You
only that,
literally and figuratively can't afford it.
it's not
Yeah,
only that, only candid, because when you are working with a client or vendor, because the candidate is working at the client side, if he thinks I'm not paying, then he's going to escalate to a manager. The manager is going to go to the client, and client going to go to the vendor, and that's going to
yeah,
affect the future business. So I can't get the next business from them. So if I need to make sure I don't get any calls or emails from those people, those kind of
yeah.
related inquiries. So that makes me very very cautious, and I really do care very well.
Absolutely. I'm sure there's a couple moments, couple nights where we weren't quite sure if it was going to happen or not, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning, because to be a self-funded EOR, I mean, is hard, right? It's impressive that you were able to do that without, um, not without challenges, right? But without breaking some of those promises, which is super important.
But I would say how did it happen? Because the day one you will not be paying like 10, 20 people. So we
Yeah,
eventually went step by step. So when I was either self-funded or maybe somebody helped, that money, whatever coming in, I was keeping in the same bank. So that made me easy to pay the third person, fourth person, fifth person, because I was not taking out everything going in to pay the employees.
yeah.
So that's why the income increased. The funds I was able to keep in the bank because I was not taking it all out.
Right? Because I mean, your wife was software engineers, isn't that her trade as well? I know in IT, but specifically software engineer. So it was really kind of you went in together of like, hey, you guys can kind of live off of that. Everything in the business is just going to build and build and build. So it really both of you had to see the vision too,
Yeah.
right? Of what this could be, which is, I mean, is a testament to that partnership. And I think it's important to share with the listeners because if you're gonna do this, like you got to go all in, and if you're either married, right, the spouse has got to be on board. They got to know what to expect, and also what not. You expect the unexpected, right? All those things, and I think
Yeah.
it sounds like you were really sound in having a runway, having right. You guys relied on each other to make that and saw the vision. I'm sure that was probably pretty important in kind of getting to where you are now.
Yeah, of course. See, I would add if somebody, it could be helpful for somebody. See, you, of course, obviously you're making little money, but if you just take out and spend, you're done. There's no growth there. And
Yeah,
also the standards of living while you're working it, you have to take care it. You can just spend like you're making a lot of money there. So you have to
yeah,
squeeze everything. You have to reduce your expenses until you see that money coming in, in a one stage. But until then, you have to cover everything. We never went out, restaurants. We didn't travel at all. We were saving as much as possible. We
yeah.
didn't even started saving kids. Everything started after this. But believe me, those money, everything I spent, even my wife and other funds, from my personal. That's now, we are seeing that those fruits now. So I'm glad I did it in the right way. Yeah.
Well, you have the long game in mind. Like, I mean, that's I tell everyone, anyone that I see kind of get the short term wins, they still have the long game in mind. Not like the quick wins, but like just if you're going to be doing this for the next 10, 20, 30 years, like act that way, right? And be responsible. And I think with the dopamine, right, of internet and phones and everyone wants everything yesterday, the people that really have a vision like yourself and play the long game and just have that patience,
Yeah.
right? And stop like not blaming people around you or anything else, but just knowing that like, hey, this is the journey. This is hard work. If it was easy, everyone would do it, right? If all the results came right away, everyone would do it, but they
Of course.
don't. So like through those kind of where did that kind of mentality come from? Like that resiliency, that kind of fortitude. Like where was that kind of developed for
I,
you?
I don't know, maybe in my blood, my father is
Yeah,
hard worker.
yeah,
But mindset is the only thing I think it's keeping me, and I'm continuing my journey. So even when we were thinking of shutting down everything and to find another job, that made me to continue it, because of the support I have it, from family, and never giving up an attitude. That's where I think I did it. Even my friends always praise me. If I take something, I will do it, 100%. So that's where maybe, I was able to focus it. Even my studies and everything, it was an average. But anything, if I get a take a responsibility. Even I feel bad about people who lost me because of, I was working there, they didn't pay me well. uh, they lost a very loyal and good employee. So if they kept me going, I would maybe be the best employee and would have managing, or maybe a couple of businesses for them. So it happened for me as good, for good. But that's what I feel. I like an employee. Still, I work as an employee here. I put my more than 100% on in everywhere. So that made me going, yeah.
I love that. I love that. It's yeah, there's probably a little regret, but it's also on their end, right? But there's like those are the lessons that are when you do go off on your own, or kind of like they're seared in your brain, really in your heart, of how you were treated at different places, or they're people, past employers limiting your potential or thinking that your potential is limited. And I, like you, I was a very average student, at times below average, couple glimpses of above average. But there's something. Oh, but I just better suited to being my own boss and being an owner of something, because there was something about just walking the standard line that never appealed to me. But taking 10, 12 years of my lumps and learning the lessons and putting the pieces together, it's kind of rewarding starting a business, 30s, maybe 40s, and kind of be able to put all those pieces together
Mhm.
and kind of it's your vision, right? And I don't know, I don't know about you, but like I kind of like the pressure. Like it's more fun having this pressure and stress than it was having W-2 pressure and stress.
Mhm. Yeah, see, you have to enjoy, what you do. So every
Yeah,
day you sleep at night, and when you wake up, you have to have some purpose what you're going to do next. So if you don't
yeah,
have anything, just going 9 to 5 or doing something, I don't see there's a purpose of your life. Now I have a 30 place. People knows me. If someday if I don't show up, people ask, hey, what happened, Ranjit, right? Or you're not showing up. That will not have it, if you just, you know stay your own, and work like, under the rock, you stay whatever it is. But
yeah.
that's a one thing makes me, motivate, and every day. And I wanted to push it. Just go and enjoy your life.
Yeah. It's I think being purposeful. I mean, even if you're in the 9 to 5, is there, giving it your all within there, like making sure you're at a place where you are, you know, giving it your all. Obviously, you can have that purpose in family life and being personal, and your personal stuff that's going on. Um, you can build a side hustle as well, right? Looking at the 9 to 5, not just as like, oh, I got to show up, but if you're going to get paid by someone else, like
Mm.
what skills can you learn while someone else is paying for it, right? Beyond just like
Yeah.
the stated job description. I think there's so much that can be, you can kind of, it's like a sponge, right? You can squeeze so much out of life, if you kind of think about it a little bit differently. I know that was one of the most impactful things, one of my best friends and mentors told me was just, if they're going to pay you, like learn all the skills that you can and build skills on someone else's dime. Like, why not? It doesn't mean that you're not doing your job, right, or not doing it really well, but just like kind of always be leveraging that in some way, shape, or form, and that's kind of like that growth mindset. Uh,
Yeah, it's
which I
not
feel like
possible for
it's
everybody,
yeah,
but I mean, I don't blame.
yeah,
You have to have employees somewhere, but
of course,
this is not for everybody. It's not easy also. So if you
yeah,
are stepping in, you have to work a lot, to be in.
absolutely. Well, let's talk about something I brought up in the beginning, which is both of us moved here. I moved here the day before I was 6.
Oh, okay.
Didn't know a lick of English. How old were you when you came over to the
Oh
States?
man, you were 6, right? So
Yeah,
that's a different thing. My case is
way
different.
different.
I was
Yeah.
I moved in 2007. So
Okay.
it's been almost 18 and a half years.
So you're
So I
yeah.
did my all my studies in my you know first language there. We have
Yeah.
actually English is the third language actually. So we have our own language Telugu, and we have a national language Hindi, and uh, and the English is the third language. I mean, if we had money, maybe my parents would have sent us to an English medium school something. Now everybody is learning there, but I didn't get a chance that. So I learned after landing here
Yeah.
everything. So that so 2007 and you are 6. That's why I can see your accent and your confidence in your English is totally different. But mine is
It's
totally
yeah.
different. Yeah.
I was right at the say if you look at the studies and all that, to say if I was in France like 2 to 3 more years, I probably would have a French accent
Yeah.
like through and through.
Mm.
Like that was kind of right at the line of when that language is kind of at least how you're going to speak is
Yeah.
pretty set in stone.
Mm.
And obviously, learning a new language as an adult way harder than it is being 5 years old.
Mm.
Uh, so definitely different in kind of in that sense. But I remember being the kid at school for months. You know, I didn't speak any English. My
Yeah.
mom had to be in there with me in the class and translate and all that stuff. So there's always, it's always it's just tough, right? It's always like it's hard, but it's I don't know about you, but it's something very rewarding about it as well. Making the change, adapting. I think it's part of the reason why I like doing my own thing now because we had to do hard things, and especially in recruiting and communication driven. It's like once you can do that, you feel like you can kind of do anything in
Yeah.
terms of right. So
But in the initial stages, I had a trouble writing any emails and talking. But man, now with the AI, you can do anything without even talking anything. So
yeah,
now all everything AI can take it.
yeah, well, it's got to be a huge help, right? It come with as long as you remove some of the emojis and the M dashes, right?
Oh
But
yeah, those
yeah, you got to clean it up a little bit. But no,
yeah.
it's
You
super
have to
helpful.
create
And
your
even
own style, type. Otherwise, you
yes,
cannot just copy paste it. So that definitely has
absolutely,
to work. Otherwise, there is no difference. Just sending somebody else and you. So yeah, that definitely makes difference. Yeah.
absolutely. Um, but let me ask you this: like, what inspired your family to move to the U.S. right from India?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So me, I was doing accounting, and also I started. I'm good at the balance sheets in the bookkeeping, right? I
okay,
was doing that, and I tried to teach also there for 12th grade students for a couple of years. So my wife also was there. We got married in 2005. So and all my friends went different countries, and they were doing well. I mean, nobody was in US. I think that was the time people are coming to US, but they are in different countries. So I was just watching, see influence, right? So people are looking at all your friends. Okay, he's going here, there. Then it was my idea. My wife parents also was not agreed to try for another country. They don't want her daughter to go another country. But it's a life for us, right? So we wanted to create something for our family. We want to build our family, and of course we were lower middle class. We didn't have enough money to educate also. So I don't want that to happen to my, even if I have a kids or something. I want to give a better life for my kids. That I would say one thing. Okay, it's
yeah,
not about me. I want to give a better life for my kids. I want to raise my family. So that's why I asked my wife, okay, should we try now? We are just only year marriage, so this is the right time. If we don't try now, we're gonna regret it later. I don't want to try after kids, right? Then it will be hard to move in another country. So we decided that year. I convinced her. She said, okay, let's try it. Then I took a help of my friends, and it was just that's how it started. And unfortunately we got it. So within the 1 year we moved it. So 2005 we married, and 2007 in March we came to US. So that's how I started my life here.
Gotcha.
Now I
And
have
then I
two
learned.
kids. They both are American citizens. I'm very glad to be here. I love this country, and I can't say more good about it. Yeah, it's a lot of things happening here. My kids are really growing well, and very very fortunate to be here. Yeah.
Well, I love that, and I feel the same way. I mean, that's slightly different. My biological dad's side was all in North Africa. My mom's side of the family grew up in New England, so I didn't have to go necessarily go through that process. Went through a different process, but I agree. Just having the appreciation for this country, the opportunity, and whatever's going on politically is kind of whatever. But just like you can really make some moves to yourself too, and that still holds true
Yeah.
if you have that kind of fighting spirit, entrepreneurial spirit. Whether you are entrepreneur or not, you can still have the spirit of one, and just to have that appreciation, I think is important. I think people sometimes can get carried away and get angry at certain things and all that, but this is still a pretty great place to be, and it still can be a lot of what you make of it, which is also
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Uh, right. So, well, awesome. Well, I know you started. I want to touch on the marketing agency you started this year a little bit. What was the inspiration for that? I guess kind of what exactly who are you serving? What are you doing there?
So initially, when I was looking, reaching for candidates or clients, nobody
Okay.
knows about Raks Group. So we of course basic website we have it. There's no SEOs or anything. So nobody knows it. Like, how can I validate this company? You are a
Yeah.
Indian voice, right? So am I talking to an American? I'm talking to somebody else in another country, right? So
Yeah.
how can I believe you? So this made me, how can I build the trust first thing? So how can I make my see, if you see my LinkedIn, I started first my company branding. So for the Raks Group, from the beginning, like, I don't know, maybe it's like 5 6 years back, before I started my personal, I
Mhm.
wanted to show up every day, something, a post in my LinkedIn. It could be some, maybe a guidance for the candidate, or maybe talking about the recruitment, or talking about job seeker, some kind of tips, or maybe a quote, maybe some kind of news, like a newsletter, or sharing something. So that's where I started. So I was sending every day, every day a post in my Raks Group LinkedIn page, and I was doing it myself. So I used to spend some time on that. Then again, after this networking and everything started, I thought, okay, it's not me reaching now, people has to reach me. So what I can do it now. I if somebody search in Google, at least my LinkedIn Raks Group is showing up on Google, and there are the main goal was, if anybody searched today, I want the latest today's post to be there, so that they see that, okay, this company is, I'm not seeing like 2022 post. I want to see today's post, so that people
Yeah.
think like, okay, I am doing business, I'm in the business, and that's what I wanted to them to feel. And again, LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, I started same thing, posting a job something, again, asking about some advices and those kind of things I started. Then I thought, I looked at some other people talking about their personal stories and other things. I researched about this personal branding. Then I figured out, okay, why can't I do it myself?
Yeah.
Maybe uh, my language and everything is different. I could be doing some maybe mistakes, but the only thing I did is, I never thought of being 100% perfect. So everything what I did is, I did start with the same raw, whatever you think it, right? I just press that start thing. Even till now, whatever I do, I'm not looking at the 100% perfect. So that's how I started. Eventually, it grown well. Now I build some credibility. I'm a kind of an influencer there. So people reach me for everything, recruiting candidates, clients. So I went back and see, okay, what did I do to be here? So how much I spend a time on this, right? Every day, every week. The problem is, if you look at the perfectness, and if you wanted to post a week off in advance, and you feel like, okay, I need only just 1 hour, but just gathering the information and creating it and posting, by the time you see that, it'll be 4 5 hours. So everything will be, your business development, everything will be aside. So I thought, why can't I saw many people talking about, especially on recruiting, you have to be face of your business, otherwise there's no business for you. And especially in this now with the AI, you can't just go sit behind and do the business. So you have to go and tell your personal story. You have to tell you are a real human, and everything. I thought, okay, why can't I do this one for the busy founders and the recruiters, recruiting companies who are starting, who doesn't have a time. I know what I did. I've been working for 5 years. So why can't I help? Like, if they realize, if they don't need to figure it out everything, they can use our service, and they can put that time into the business development and make 10% more of whatever they're going to spend on the social media.
Absolutely. And it's hard to figure out sales and recruiting and marketing and all that stuff, right? It's nice to have the blueprint and expedite that learning curve and get the results and, work people like yourself. And I know we help clients on that end as well. It's just so many people need the help as well out there. And it's such an opportunity in 2025 and beyond, and you're definitely a testament to it, of like, just get your story out there, get your story, your personal story, your work story, the behind the scenes type content that I think you do really well, and just get out there and just connect every day, content every day. I love what you said about not being 100% perfect. That's one of my mottos: better published than perfect. Just like, get it out there, stop overthinking, and stop trying to expect that you're going to make $100,000 or $1 million all within like your next 3 posts. Just think of it of like, make your next 100 posts,
Yeah,
right? Make
yeah,
your next 1,000, 10,000 connections, and then judge, and then kind of go from there and see what happens.
yeah. And also, yeah, I want to add it. You can look at ROI immediately on the branding immediately. So it takes time, and you have to wait to build that trust. So you
Exactly.
can just post a couple of posts, or maybe send a couple of messages and expect a deal. No. So, and there's no ROI immediately, so you have to build the trust with your expertise or whatever you wanted to show up and every day, and educate your clients and candidates. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what's as we kind of wind down here, what's one last thing you want to leave for the listeners, whether a piece of advice or thoughts or tips, or what to kind of look for in the future?
See, recruiting is not same like before. Even if I go back in 2016, when I was started, even if I just go back and see in 2022, it's totally different. So what I've seen is, like, I've been attending, I attended last Ben Mena summit. Everybody giving you different advice. So you're telling me to use the AI, and the other person is telling, I just build it without AI, without even automation.
Yeah.
So it's really confusing. And with the data, the tools we have it, we don't know what to use. One, you start using this one, then somebody say, okay, this is doing better. Then you stop this one, and then you do that. So kind of you have to figure it out. Don't just go and touch everything. First figure it out what works for you. It doesn't need to be like what do you call it, it doesn't need to be very very paid tools, or maybe a clay or anything. First figure it out. It can be done simply. If you are alone, you can just go start with 5 candidates or 5 clients, and do with everything manually, or use simple AI to some of your admin work. You can just do it with that and focus on human touch. Now human touch is more important than ever.
Yeah.
When you send an email, before, like 2 years back, I used to figure it out, how can I make this email with beautiful wordings, and make it very attractive. Now you know what I'm thinking. How can I make this very simple and make a simple mistake in that email? You know why? Because people
Exactly.
think like you are genuinely sent it because you did not use a, AI. So what I'm trying to say is these things are going on everywhere. So just stick with one and take one person advice and listen to him. You have to be coachable and you have to follow one direction until you see the success. Don't get distracted with all these things. That's what I wanted to say.
I love that advice. I think figure it out for yourself, right? Do the work, figure out what works for you, lean into your competitive advantages, your strengths. I think is really wise. I used the same automation tool for the last 3.5 years. I've used Sales Navigator for 5 years. I don't really need anything else than that. I got a $20 a month ChatGPT subscription.
Yeah.
I got Loom, Calendly, Zoom. All that's pretty much stayed the same for 3.5 years because most people, you just can't avoid the work. A BD, right? And tools can be a distraction. So I love that advice and figuring out what works for you. So good stuff as always. That's throughout this whole time. So I just really enjoyed our conversation, Ranjith, and thank you for being on here. Thanks for sharing your story and your knowledge and your wisdom. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Clark. Thanks. This is a very good conversation with you. I'm happy. I'm trying to see if somebody can take this as a motivation, go move forward and success in their life, and I'll be very glad. Yeah.
I know they will. I think just the perseverance, the resiliency, and just sticking with it, and uh, it's huge and can take people a long way. And as you're doing that, build a little bit of a brand and network. So
Sure.
a lot of good lessons. Please shoot me on here. Make sure to connect with Ranjith. We'll have his LinkedIn URL in the episode. If you got value from this episode, give us the 5 star, give us some love, give us a shout out. And until next time, y'all, happy hunting.